Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Sound check. Everyone hear me all right? Okay. And my screen. You just see my screen. You don't see my notes, right? Awesome. Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about brand consistency that helps get you results. And a little bit about me. I'm Laura King. I'm graphic designer and brand expert. I own Wild Cabin Studio. And what we'll cover today is the power of brand consistency, why it matters, how to build trust with it, and how to use it to make your marketing easier for you and even more effective. I'm going to show you some practical steps that you can use, you can take away with some tips that I'm going to be giving you. And then, of course, I'll share some ways that we at Wild Cabin Studio can help bring your brand vision to life. So a little bit about Wild Cabin Studio is we create wild, beautiful brands that feel true to who you are and help you connect deeply to your audience. We like to blend creativity with strategy, infusing every brand with adventure and heart. We offer brand design, we offer website design, content creation, plus a lot of tools that you can use to stand out and show up consistently throughout your business. Okay, so let's talk about brand consistency in the way that it makes sense. Imagine that your brand is a campfire. When it's burning bright and steady, it draws people in, makes them feel warm, makes them feel welcome. It leaves a lasting impression. But when that fire starts to flicker, weaken, or keep changing directions, it's harder for people to trust. People start to look elsewhere for warmth. Brand consistency, it is what helps keep that fire strong. Like every touch point, your website, your social media, your emails, your client interactions is another log on that fire. The more aligned these elements are, the stronger and more inviting your brand becomes. So why does brand consistency matter? It feels cohesive. It feels friendly. It feels reliable, no matter where people find you. Think about the brands that you instantly recognize. Even without their logo, the power of showing up, that's the power of showing up again and again, the same way over and over. That consistency makes you more memorable, helps you remember who you are and why you're there. So why does this matter for your business? Because trust is everything. When your brand looks polished and familiar, people feel confident choosing you. It signals professionalism, credibility, and also connection. Now there's the power of 7 rules. I'm going to show you 2 of them. So this one is about 7 times rule. This study shows it takes 7 times before someone remembers a brand, which means every single touch point counts. If your branding looks different on social media and on your website, on your emails, people won't recognize and remember you easily. But when you reinforce your brand over and over again, people start to connect the dots, they start to recall you, and they start to trust you. With that 7 times rule, there's also this 7-second rule. It takes just 7 seconds for you to make an impression. For example, think about walking into a store. If the lighting is harsh, the shelves are messy, no one greets you, you feel instantly disconnected. The same goes for your brand. If it feels scattered, if it feels mismatched, people will move on. But when everything feels intentional and cohesive and put together, people stick around and want to learn more about your business. Here's a good infographic that really demonstrates this. So every time someone lands on one of your marketing opportunities, so your website, your email, your newsletter, your LinkedIn account, a presentation that you may do, if everything looks different, they're not going to connect the dots. This is coming from the same business, that you're not selling the same products, you're not selling the same services. But whenever your marketing materials and the way that you talk about your business is all the same shape, slightly different, maybe, they start to connect this as all being a piece of the same business. You want your visuals, your engagement style to all tell that same story. Okay, let me give you some real world examples of how consistency builds trust. So here's two examples. On the left, we have 4 images that could easily belong to 4 different businesses. There's no shared colors, there's no shared fonts, there's no shared visuals. There's really not a connection between these 4. People might not even know that these are from the same business. Now compare it to the one on the right-hand side. They have the same colors, they have the same typography, they have the same overall aesthetic. Even though each piece is different, they're all from the same brand, and that's the magic of consistency. Although I will say that this is an exaggeration. These are too familiar. I don't want you to create brand consistency that looks the same and repetitive. Let's break this up with some real life examples, some photography, some videos. So this is just an exaggeration, but it gets the point across. With a strong brand, what I was saying is that it doesn't all have to look identical. It just needs to feel related. Some well-built brand systems gives you the freedom to create without losing consistency. So some things that help in having brand consistency is having a defined logo or brand mark that you can scatter throughout your visuals. A family of colors that you can rotate through with your brand palette to keep things fresh, but still consistent. Type hierarchy is also really important. So establish what your headings look like, your subheadings, what your body text looks like, and use that consistently throughout all of your marketing materials, social media, website, and emails. When you layer all of these things together, it really starts to make a cohesive brand. At the very, very bare minimum, there are 4 things that every brand should have to help with this consistency. You want your logo, which is your primary identity system. So if you have a logo, hopefully you have a secondary logo that helps fill in the gaps for some of those spaces where you can't fit a full logo or a mark of some sort. You're going to want a color palette that creates a signature look for you. You're going to want that typography so you can be recognizable, but also consistent. And then you want to have some images or some textures that you can layer in to help your aesthetic even further. Okay, so now that we've talked about brand visuals, let's see what they look like when they're styled within a brand style guide. These are 2 real examples that we did here at Wild Cabin Studio. They include the colors, the fonts, the logos, and everything just here in one look. You have your logos, you've got your secondary logos, you have a color palette with all of those hex codes that you can just copy and paste from this PDF and put into Canva or into your website. Also a reminder of your fonts that you're using and your textures and patterns. So if you're creating content, you could look at this guide and just say, okay, I can use this. It just reinforces the idea that you've got this whole toolbox of design assets that you can use throughout your marketing material. I always recommend that my clients print this out and tape it to the wall behind their monitor so they can easily, at a glance, get an idea of all of the things that they can use throughout their marketing efforts to stay on brand and stay familiar and consistent. With this brand guidelines, with this consistency that we're making, you're able to push this into all of your other efforts. So on your website, social media, even within your customer service, like your emails. I would like you to take a look at your brand, give yourself a little bit of a brand audit and ask yourself, does your website feel consistent with your Instagram feed? Do your emails match your business card and your packaging? When people see my brand, do they instantly know that it's me? So those are a couple good questions to ask yourself to make sure that your visual messaging is across all your platforms. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's do a little bit of a workshop in this presentation. So raise your hand. How many of you use Canva for your business efforts, your marketing efforts? Okay, most of us. Great. Canva's amazing. It lets you create your own marketing materials without being a designer. But as we've learned, even great design tools don't work if your branding is inconsistent. Okay, so Canva has these brand boards. So the ones that I showed you that we create for our clients here at Wild Cabin Studio. This is an action step that I'd love for you to work on this week. Create your own brand board for your business. If you go to Canva, you type in brand board in the search bar, you'll get 1,049 different templates that you could start with. Grab one of these, grab one that draws your attention and start plugging in your details, plug in your logo. If you don't have a color palette, let's establish that. Let's nail that down and give yourself a color palette to work with. Go through Canva or go through a stock photography and start adding in different elements or icons that you want to start using so you can start this base of building the foundation of your visual language throughout all of your marketing material. But I do want to remind you that Canva is just a tool. I see so many business owners just using Canva templates as is without adapting them to your brand. Sometimes that results in disjointed generic marketing that doesn't feel like you and your brand and it looks like everybody else's. So they are lovely. They definitely have a really great starting point for you to then change over to be on brand with your business. So making some of these changes is really easy in Canva. It's a great tool just to like magically switch all the colors to your brand colors. Let me show you an example how a brand board can come to life with some Canva templates. So another action step that I'd love for you to do is I would love for you to start thinking about what are your content buckets? What are things that you talk about consistently throughout your business and make a template for those. It'll make your life so much easier if you have this established instead of starting from fresh every time you want to post something on social media. So some of your buckets might be events that you're having. So make a template of what that event can look like. Your introduction to who you are, let's start making some templates for that. Maybe testimonials. Everyone has testimonials that want to showcase in their marketing efforts. So think about those buckets that you fill every time that you're creating content for social media or for email marketing, and start creating a template. So what I did here is this was a template that I pulled from Canva, but then I introduced all of the things from the brand board that I created. So I switched out all the colors. I added a couple of the sub logos. I made sure that the typography was consistent with whatever I established here in my brand board. Now that you have these templates established, you can easily just change out the colors, change out the layout, change out some of the design elements. So you're not looking the same every time you post about yourself. It changes slightly. And that is the power of consistency in creating this brand board and creating rules for you to apply so you can be magnetic and you can continue to tell your visual story for your brand in different ways just by switching things pretty easily. By creating these templates, you can really flesh out a month's worth of content in a few hours. It just changed things around. Now, for today's takeaway, I want you to just think about how to establish a standard and stick to it. It'll help create this visual storyline for your brand and help people remember who you are and what you're selling. And whenever they start seeing this color palette or these typography or these icons, they start to connect you to your business. So that's the goal of some brand consistency. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about Wild Cabin Studio and how we can help you. I also have a special offer for everyone in Mountain Women Business. And if you'd like, I would love to do a live demonstration on how to change if we have time, how to change a Canva template over to something that is branded. Okay, so ways to work with us. The core of Wild Cabin Studio is we do brand design. That is what we're really good at. We like to make sure that you tell your story in a visual way, give you all those tools that I talked about to create that brand board, and help educate you and help you continue to grow your business and flourish on your own with all of these tools that we've created for you. We also do content creation. On my team, I have Amy, who is a content creator. She lives over in Evergreen. I have to bring her to one of our meetups. I haven't yet, but she can create anything from emails to brand voice to help you create content for your website or descriptions of your services or products. I do website design. We really are great at Squarespace. So if you have a Squarespace website, we can help you refresh or create a Squarespace website. We do the other ones too, but I would say Squarespace is our jam. And then this year, I'm really wanting to do smaller workshops. So one-on-one workshops, helping you to just feel confident in your business and just have me kind of sitting with you to help make you feel like you are able to do this and give you some tools and tricks in order to just flesh out things a lot easier and so you don't have to recreate things from scratch. And so here's my exclusive offer. I'm trying this out, so I want to try it on you guys first. So it's a half day one-on-one personalized workshops. We can work on anything that you are like can't get over that hurdle with. So brand visuals, some messaging, website work. You can do some SEO research, and I can just think of me as your designer in your pocket that can help you just really flush things out and get moving and maybe elevate some of your existing content. So Q&A first, and then if we have time, I'd love to show you real world example as to how to switch over things from Canva to be on brand to help with your messaging.
I think we had a question about Canva on, is it initially free?
There is a free version of Canva. It is really limited to what you can use. There's a lot less photos. Sometimes it adds watermarks. You don't have access to something which is called the brand hub, where you can set all of your colors and all of your fonts and add your logos. And Canva is pretty affordable. I think it's $120 a year. Maybe there's discounts for nonprofits and educational groups. But it is worth the investment. You have access to more templates and just a lot more things. But yes, there is a free version and you can get around the paid version, but it's a little bit more work actually to get things how you want them to be.
And is Canva, is that your kind of go-to for?
You know, I have Adobe Creative Suite. So I have access to a lot of designer tools, things that I learned in school, and it's small tweaks, mostly things to create really customized things. But I have been using Canva a lot because it's such a great product for small business owners that aren't graphic designers. So I create a lot of templates within Canva, and then I do a little bit of a workshop where I show them how to change the colors. So I've been using a lot actually in the past 5 years of my business, but I don't use it primarily. I use Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign as well.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Let's see, anybody have their hand raised?
I'm going to say something real quick. Laura, you did such a great job on your presentation. And I want to say, if you're not following Laura on social media, she does such a great job of showing up consistently. I'm super inspired by her Instagram account. It's beautiful. It's obviously well designed because she is so talented. But I know for me personally, I don't show up as consistently as I would like on social media for my own business because I'm so busy with everybody else's business. But Laura definitely inspires me to do better in that end. So yeah, go ahead and follow her because it's just great work that she puts out there.
Great.
Awesome.
Are you putting up your Insta by
I can put-
chance?
Yeah.
So
I
that
can do
everybody
that.
can see that?
Yeah. Let me try and.
I know it sounds silly, but this is all so true because it made such a big difference years ago when I have my business card now matched the magnets that I put on my Wrangler that advertise my business, that I put on my spare tire cover. All of these things, people wave or honk or have come to recognize me. They don't always match my social media posts, but I'm very consistent. Like every Monday, there's a post about my business on about 48 different local Facebook pages. It might annoy some people, but it's consistent. And I've gotten known in the community from some of that. So I'm not complaining. They can complain, but it's helping my business.
Yeah, I mostly talked about the visual consistency, but there is also brand voice consistency, and there's how you tell your story as well. So there's that side of that as well. This is my Instagram page. So you're probably getting the vibe of kind of warm, friendly, cabin-esque type of feel. And I am consistently showing up with how my testimonials look, how I showcase color palettes for my clients. I'm using the same fonts for my internal educational posts. And then I'm also breaking it up with like photographs too. So not everything looks the same, but it all feels very cohesive. It feels warm. And I do change up my colors a lot as well. So when you start your brand board, start with something, but it can always adapt. You can live with it for 6 months and you're like, I'm ready to shift over to something else, add a color, add a different type. And I've done that with my own business. If you look way down here,
Yep.
I was using something, different fonts further down. I guess I've been sticking with it for a while, but I was using this font, which I've expired. I don't use that anymore. So feel free to adapt. What time is it? Okay, so we do have time. I want to show you how I work on creating templates for some of my clients. So I actually created this entire brand presentation in Canva as well by starting with a template. So let's create a new design. Can someone give me an idea for an upcoming event for maybe let's do like an Easter egg hunt for I'm going to use one of my businesses so I could show you the brand board. So Instagram post, they're now wanting 4x5, so it's more of a rectangle. So I chose that from the template. And I'm going to maybe use an Easter egg hunt. Oh gosh, this might be hard. Okay, so let's pull one of these. Let's use this one. Nope, let's use this one. Okay. So this is a Canva template. As you click on it, you can see that you can change out fonts, you can change out colors, you can change out icons. And over here, this is a feature of the Pro, which is why I'm a big fan, is that you can upload your logos, you can upload your color palettes, and you can upload your headings and graphics that you tend to consistently use. So I'm going to switch this over to be on brand. Since you saw my slide deck, you kind of saw my color palette, my aesthetic. So this looks nothing like my presentation. So let's change that. Let's make it work. So
Really quick, Laura,
Yeah.
someone had another question in
Oh,
the
thank you.
comments. Amy wanted to know how many colors should we have in our palette?
you can see this is my color palette. I've got like 14 there, but I have a primary set, which are these first 5. So I usually send my clients out with 6 as the primary. And then over time, I needed a blush. I needed a pink. So I ended up adding. So start with the primary, and then you can start adding in secondary colors. Okay, so these are my brand colors. And with Canva Pro, you can easily just of a click of a button, change out those colors to be on brand with my brand, Wild Cabin Styles. So I'm gonna flip through these and see if there's anything that looks nice to me. Not loving any of these. So I'm going to just manually pick. And then change some of these colors. And some of the pro feature icons, you're able to change the color of this icon to be on brand as well. So that green has a little bit of texture on that egg. And let's change this to something like that. Okay, these are not my fonts. So some of my fonts that I use, I haven't updated this, but I know that I tend to use Laura because my name is Laura. It's pretty close. And resize it. Doesn't always fit. And I know that I tend to use this is Rio. Ooh. Can't see what that is. Looks like some of my text has been changed to white, so I'm going to move that over to not all the text. There's not much there. Okay, I don't like the way that this looks, so let's change a few things. Put a background on that. There we go. These are not my fonts, so let's change them to okay, it's slowly progressing. It's slowly moving into something that I might possibly post or put in a newsletter. Something I like to do with all of a lot of my posts is I have this graphic that I use and I like to put it in the background. So I'm going to change the transparency, drop it down a
Oh,
little,
wow.
and then I'm going to drop it into the back. So this is looking closer and closer to my presentation. And that's the goal, is to make sure that it, you know, it looks very much like something that Wild Cabin Studio would post. So it's pretty easy to change those templates. I mean, it does take a little bit of time, but once I establish a look for this event, let's say that, you know, I'm going to also have a Christmas event or a Thanksgiving event, I'll use this as a template, change out the text. let me show you how I would do that. So let's say this is going to be Christmas. Oops. This is how you start testing some of your templates to make sure that they work. Oh, it's not a Christmas egg hunt, Christmas stocking contest. I'm going to look for a stocking, replace the element. These are not Wild Cabin brand colors, so we're going to adjust that. Okay. Let's change the color. Okay. So side by side, they look like a family. They've got different elements. They have the same fonts. They have the same colors. They've got the texture that I tend to use. You can move some things around. Maybe you don't want that to be the full length, just to give it a little bit of variety. But, oh, something that I would add that's missing on this is that I would add maybe a logo. Real small up in the corner. I like to send my clients away with an icon of some sort, something that represents their business. So it's not always Wild Cabin logo everywhere. I have yet to do that for myself. That is on the agenda, but an icon or a sub logo or something that represents your business is another way, another element that you would be able to switch this out. Let me show you. I have a lot of brand kits here, a couple familiar ones here that you might recognize. But this is a brand kit for one of my recent clients, and this is from Meredith Randall. She is opening a new business in Evergreen called the Evergreen Supply House. Go check her out. She has a grand opening on the 4th. I'm gonna plug her event here, and it is a do-it-yourself interior design showroom, and that opens on the 4th. So go check it out. But here is Evergreen Supply House. This is their secondary logo. And they also have a main logo as well. So if this were her event, I would maybe put the secondary logo on this one. And then to switch it around, I might maybe put the other one on this page. Just to add a little bit of variety. Okay, still a family, but slightly different. Okay, that's my quick rundown of how to kind of make Canva templates your own and on brand. Is there anything else that someone would like for me to show, to walk through?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
It's not something you can show, but you mentioned one-on-one workshops, and I was just curious, like, what that would entail. Would you like look at everything that I've been posting and like kind of figure out what I'd really like to figure out like what I'm doing wrong, and then you help me figure out how to fix it and do it correctly. Is
Yeah.
that a part of your workshop, or is that something different?
Yeah, so my workshop, it's up to you, whatever you want to work on with me. So I recently had a workshop with Kristen McGlone, and the first one was talking about her brand voice. So to make sure that what she is saying, that her mission statement and her value statement and the way that she puts things out there in a content format was cohesive. So that was a workshop, and then it ended up rolling into another workshop, which was based on visuals. So we wanted to focus on her website and making sure that her website had cohesion with her social media as well. So we created on that workshop, we worked on consistency with her visuals and started implementing them into a strategy. And then the third one, we rolled into me just really fleshing out her website, and she was there to help me. So it's really whatever you want it to be. It's a half day, but it's limited. So it's only about 4 hours. So we'll talk about beforehand what you want to work on that workshop. I'll do a little homework beforehand, and I'll create at this hour, we're going to be working on this. And then we're going to, our end goal is to be this final thing. So it's up to you.
Thanks. That helps out a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm just trying it out. So I'm sure I'm going to learn on these. Honestly, I tend to give a lot in that time. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, anybody else? Anybody? So yeah, that's going to be a wealth of information for you, Kristen. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Exciting. Exciting. Okay. All right. So I'm going to end the recording.